Our topic for today is dun, 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 dun. Okay lang ba maging kuripot?
What's up, besties? Welcome back to Quarter Life Bliss Season 3.
This is your favorite finance podcast with your financial bestie Sarah and bestie Yani.
Welcome back to the podcast. Today, I'm with my co-host na super ganda. I'm super excited for this. How are you, Sarah? How are you?
I'm doing good. It's our first time to record a podcast episode that we're
Not together.
separated. Yeah, not
Right.
together.
I mean, for this season, 'di ba? Ngayon lang tayo. Kasi
Yeah.
before, I interviewed nyo na in season 2, pero talagang virtual. Pero ngayon for this season, ngayon lang kami magre-record. And I think the last time we recorded this when before I left the States. So, mga early Feb pa. And today is March 25. Gahabol kami ng episodes kasi before I leave again for the States again.
Because Yani is gonna watch another BTS concert, and we kind of agree that it might be a lot more erratic if she flies here and we force ourselves to film an episode together, and therefore hindi na kami naging productive. So it's like, I don't just record an episode kahit nandyan ka, nandito ako.
Yeah, we're no longer attached na magkasama kami sa episode. I mean in person kasi my trip din will be very very short at saka based on our past experience, talagang paus na paus kami ni Sarah. After nung BTS concert, kasi nagkita kami to record pero hindi kinaya. So we just planned.
I think we only filmed 1 or 2 episodes after. Oh yeah, nagplan lang pala tayo after.
Oo, nagplan lang tayo. So ano bang topic natin today, girl?
Our topic for today is dun, 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 dun. Okay lang ba maging kuripot?
Nako.
Wow.
Maraming topics na pwedeng mapag-usapan dito.
At saka bakit ganun namin winerd out? Okay lang ba maging kuripot? Kasi diba in the Philippines, negative connotation yung kuripot.
Pero you mentioned sa akin before na dyan sa States hindi, di ba?
Hindi kuripot mga tao? Or like dito kasi
Hindi.
yung term that people would use is savvy. It means that, or inexpensive. Like you know how to use your money. You know how to spend your money. Ganon.
Oh, ang social nun. So, yan na nga rin gagamitin ko. Hindi ako kuripot, I'm just savvy. Ganon ba yun gamitin?
Yes, exactly.
So,
Oh
parang
my
wise
God.
ka with money.
Like you know how to spend it wisely.
Okay, that's my first learning today. So, use savvy para medyo social. Kasi pag sabi, ang kuri-kuripot mo, diba? Parang hindi nakakasosyal. Okay, bakit natin kailangan to pag-usapan? Kasi we need to talk about boundaries. Ultimately, I think the reason why people are kuripot is because they have boundaries. But they're not aware na boundaries yung tawag dito. Tatanungin kita, Sarah,
Yeah.
ikaw ba, kuripot ka ba?
Honestly, actually, tagal na ata akong hindi nasabihan na kuripot ako by another person. But personally, I know na hindi ako gastador.
Ah,
Hindi ako
okay.
gastador, pero hindi naman ako kuripot. Tama lang.
Hindi siya kuripot dahil nung unang beses kami nagkita, nilibre niya ako, pati Uber ko. Nilibre niya po ako ng
Kasi you're
Uber.
my
Ang mahal ng
guest
Uber sa
here.
ang mahal ng Uber sa US hindi siya Grab level lang dito.
Oo, kasi guys, yung Grab level po sa Pilipinas, 500 pesos na. Sobrang mahal na yun, di ba? Yun yung pinakamahal actually. 500 or 700
Mga
pesos.
ganyan. 700, mahal na yan.
Dito, medyo uso po yung $20 so 1,000 ho ang minimum.
Correct. Pero I think ang pinakamura ko
Uber
dyan na Uber, 17 plus tax. $17 plus tax. So, mga 800. Ang mahal nga. Grabe, ang mahal. But yeah, talking about boundaries, I think kasi, we have to talk about until when na ikaw yung magbibigay, until when na ikaw yung manlilibre, until when na ikaw yung may sagot sa tao, diba? And for
Kasi
me,
usually you get
Sige, go.
called kuripot if you don't make libres. Make libre, that's so
Oo,
Taglish.
totoo yan,
You get called kuripot pag hindi ka nang libre.
Correct. Correct.
Mm.
Tinatawag ka nilang kuripot. Ang kuripot mo naman kasi hindi mo, pag kinansyawan ka or like sinabihan ka man libre tapos hindi mo sila nilibre, you are tagged as a kuripot. In the Philippines, being kuripot is
Bad,
madamot.
negative. It has like a
Negative,
negative
madamot.
connotation.
Yeah,
Yeah,
madamot.
madamot. Yeah, that's it
Correct.
exactly. Selfish. For our English listeners, like if you're called kuripot, you're basically called selfish.
Hindi stingy yung tawag eh. Yung isa pa, frugal. I think frugal yung tawag.
Yeah, frugal is another one that we
Yeah,
can
na
use.
parang sobrang negative niya na madamot ka lang, hindi ka smart with money, hindi ka nag-iipon, hindi ka madamot ka lang.
Mm-mm.
And
You always just pick the cheapest option. Ganon.
yan. Kaya I think we wanted to shed a light on it today, on today's episode. Kasi okay lang ba talaga
Mm-hmm.
maging kuripot? Paano mo mawawala yung shame mo or yung guilt mo around being kuripot? 'Di ba?
Yes, yes.
So, bakit ba okay lang maging kuripot, Sarah, Carlos?
Yan. So with that said, bakit nga ba? Alam mo, honestly, I think pumapasok dito yung too much of everything is bad for you. Kasi okay lang naman maging kuripot eh. There's nothing wrong with that. But may mga tao talaga na it always has to be the cheapest option yung kinukuha nila. And sobra naman yon pag ganon. Like yung dapat $1 lang, yung kung dapat
Dollar
makakain sila
store,
ng
ganun.
$1 lang, dollar store, dun lang sila. Like never sila bibili ng anything more than $1. May mga tao talagang ganun like extreme. But honestly, yun din yung mahirap sa ating mga tao eh. Hindi lang sa mga Pilipino, but to everyone. We throw around adjectives way too freely. Like, alam mo yon, like, if someone is making, kung malandi ang isang tao, that's a flirt, she's a flirt. Kahit isang beses lang siya nalandi, malandi yan, ganyan. Or like,
We tag people.
yeah, oh my gosh, yes, that's perfect. We easily tag people, usually with nothing, with no other reason than we just saw them do it once. Sometimes we just saw them do it once and we tag them already. So that's what's difficult. Kasi kuripot ka nga ba talaga o napagsabihan ka na ng kuripot ng isang tao who barely knows you? 'Di ba? So papasok din doon yung self-awareness mo na dapat din, I guess, pag-isipan mo, kuripot pa talaga ako? Hindi naman eh. Ano ba yun?
Gusto ko mag-add muna dun sa going for the cheaper option all the time. I think it's not bad to go to the cheaper option or choose the cheaper option, but also assess well kung
Yes.
dapat ba tipirin ko to. Alam mo yon, yung parang mga ganong bagay. Kunwari
Yeah.
appliances, tapos bibili ka ng sobrang mura, pero yung hassle mo naman everyday, ganun, alam mo yon, parang ganon.
Gets.
Sometimes being
Or
too
like,
kuripot, hindi, is not smart for our way of living.
exactly. Actually, here is a classic example, and I got this example from friends because Phoebe Buffet, si Phoebe, she loves thrift shopping, and I agree with thrift shopping. Like I think that's a good idea for you to recycle clothes so that you don't always shop for new stuff all the time. But I think you draw the line if you thrift shop pati yung panty mo, bra at panty mo. Parang, diba? So it's like, I know it's like it was supposed to be a funny episode, but they make a point. They make a good point that it's okay to be savvy with your money. It's okay to be frugal with your money. But like what you said, Coach Yani, you have to assess if this is something that you should save up on.
Yeah, I like what you said. And I think, ang isa sa maganda pang pag-usapan talaga when it comes to being kuripot is, if you have the money naman to buy a better option, I would say, especially if, alam mo yun, hindi siya one-time use, yan, katulad niya, diba? Or it's a personal hygiene use. Huwag mo tipirin sarili mo. Huwag mo tipirin sarili mo because baka masyado kang masanay na gano'n, diba? Hanggang it becomes normal for you to be that kuripot.
Exactly.
And I think, yung hindi masyadong napo-point out sa pagiging kuripot is you forget to spend money. And natutunan ko to over the weekend that money is like air. So you breathe it in like, hindi naman daw pwedeng,
Talaga nag-breathe it talaga.
hindi naman daw pwedeng, like, buga-buga ka lang kapag ka maglalabas ka na pero 'di ba? Kailangan parang inhale, exhale. So that it flows, which makes
Yeah.
so much sense. Kailangan,
Yeah.
I always say that money is currency and money is energy and energy is currency, and for it to flow out, for it to flow in, it has to flow out first. And sometimes people tend to hold on so much to their money to the point that gigil na gigil, wala ring nakakapasok na money. Alam mo yon? But if you're
Tama.
willing to let go and to spend your money, kailangan, papasok din talaga yung pera. Alam mo yun? Easily papasok din talaga.
Exactly. Like parang 'di ba yung sinasabi nila palaging love advice, kung para sa'yo, babalik yan para sa'yo. Naks, may ganon! Like, if you hold on too tight to someone, ayaw naman na ng ma-cage in, talagang mawawala at mawawala yan at hindi na yan babalik. But adding to what you said, you don't just have to, you can't always just spend money you don't have though. Like, that's, dun pumapasok yung pag-assessment natin ng mga bagay-bagay. Like, hindi porket it's the most expensive phone, it's the best phone. You get what I mean? Like, just because something is
I agree.
expensive doesn't mean it's
Correct.
good all the time. Kasi people, there's this thing called marketing. Minsan market lang nila yung product to be like that, but the cost of making that product, it's so cheap sometimes. So, like what we've always been advocating in our podcast, you have to really learn how to assess a situation, how to analyze it.
Yeah, ako naman on my end, I totally agree with that. The most expensive is not always the best option. Pero yon, limiting also where I'm kuripot in. Like for example, food, hindi ako kuripot sa food. Sa experiences, hindi ako kuripot, especially when I travel. Kasi for me, you're paying for memories, you're paying for experiences, but ako magiging kuripot with myself. To me, I know that I worked for it. Yun. So, hindi ako magiging kuripot dyan. Saan ako nagiging kuripot? Nagiging kuripot ako sa, iniisip ko tuloy kung saan ako kuripot. Kasi hindi naman talaga ako kuripot. I think, being wise lang with money, for example, when ordering.
Going out. Like, I think if you go out sa Philippines, you don't really go out every weekend.
Yeah, and also, buying stuff na feeling ko naman pwede akong makamura na hindi ko kailangan ng branded. So, for example, in my house.
Mga VT merch mo. BTS merch mo.
Hindi. Ay, kuripot ako doon. Oo nga. Hindi rin, di ba? Hindi tayo bumibili.
Yeah, I remember when we went to the concert. Ano naman yung concert? When we went to the concert and we look at the items, parang sinasabi pa natin, ano ba yan? Parang hindi siya ganun kaganda. Makikita pa natin yun sa shopping. Parang ganon.
Oh my gosh.
So, and, we love BTS. Don't get us wrong. But sometimes you just can't justify the price for the quality of the product.
Yeah. But yeah, sa akin, for example, dito, I posted yesterday that I made my own chandelier. I bought it from Shopee lang. I think 1,200 lang siya. You can check my story for that. But yeah, yun, being wise lang sa pagdating sa mga ganon. And I think the ultimate reason why people are kuripot is because they have their own goals. So,
yes, that's
to
good.
me, when you're kuripot, you're smart with money. To me, when you're kuripot, probably you have either your short-term or your long-term goals that you wanna save up for. 'Di ba? Parang sabihin mo, bakit hindi ka sasama? Kasi ayaw mong gumastos. Ba't ka kuripot? 'Di ba? Parang gano'n. Tapos sasabihin, kasi meron akong pinag-iipunan.
That's
Diba?
true. I mean, and you could say that. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, and I think pag
Yung
gano'n,
problema kasi
parang,
pag mga kaibigan natin, pinipikod ka palagi eh.
may
if
pressure.
toxic yung friends mo, pipikunin ka ng mga kaibigan mo.
May
That's true.
pressure. Yeah, I think so. For me, okay lang maging kuripot as long as meron ka ding limit.
Yeah.
Diba? And alam mo yung reason kung ba't ka nagtitipid.
Exactly.
Yung iba naman kasi sobrang kuripot to the point na, oh my gosh, pupunta ka ng birthday, wala kang dalang regalo. Kasi hindi naman saan mapupunta yung gift. Charot!
No, but you know what? You're right. That's so
Diba?
true. That's Or, alam mo yon, there are some people na kuripot to the point na they have the decency na hindi na sila pupunta. Hindi, ayoko na nang pumunta kasi ayoko gumastos. Nakakaya naman pag pumunta ako, walang
Yeah.
gift.
So, walang,
Pero
yeah.
if you look at your expenses, you had the budget naman for
Yeah.
it. So why not?
I think it's
So,
yeah.
doon din pumapasok mo yung relationship with your money. Kasi admittedly, I used to be like this. Like, I really did. Guys, like, I've mentioned this in the earlier episodes, but nagigilty ako kung bumibili ako ng t-shirt na kailangan namin for a subject na 100 pesos, 200 pesos. Eh, minsan, di ba, parang uso pa yan sa classroom na parang, sige, ito yung budget natin para gumawa
Oo.
ng t-shirt, 120, ganyan, ganyan.
Class fund.
Parang ko, hindi ba pwede 100 na lang? Gaganon ako! As in, sobra. Anyway, nakakaya.
At saka yung
But
isang
yeah.
way of being kuripot girl, yung nilolowball mo na yung tao. For example, sa mga kasal, tapos kunwari friend mo videographer, or mga events, tapos friend mo videographer, so, uy, baka pwedeng ano na lang, kunwari sabihin nila, okay, budget
Yun,
is 25,000, ay, kunwari yung rate niya is 25,000, uy, baka pwedeng 15,000 na lang kasi nagtitipid ako sa event ko. Alam mo yon parang,
actually, pwede pa naman yun eh. Like,
okay ka naman.
15,000.
Hindi. I mean, that's just a pausong price. Okay? Hindi ko alam talaga yung running rate. I don't know
Ay,
anything.
hindi, like, but like, let's talk about this just quickly. Like, when someone lowballs you, halata naman kasi kung nilo-lowball ka, pag tipong, like, more than half of the price ang binabawasan. But sometimes you can also have to see how they talk to you kasi minsan baka ito lang talaga budget nila or minsan alam mo yun nakakaramdam ko sa mga ganun. But I completely agree with you, Coach Yani, that sometimes some people lowball services or talents from other
Yeah.
people, and it gets to a point na talaga bang hindi mo afford, like parang too much naman if ever.
Or kung hindi mo afford, then don't hire them.
Yeah, if hindi mo afford, look for someone else. That's what that you could say this. Oh wow, I didn't expect your price to be that high. I'm sorry, but my budget is ganyan, ganyan, ganyan. And
Yeah.
then
And
it's okay though. I'll consider you for future stuff na lang. Kasi alam mo yun, I feel like these talents understand that big brands or brands have a budget in general. Budgeting, one of our episodes in the future. But yeah, they have a budget that they have to stick to. So it's just a matter of, like, ito nga, yung point ng podcast natin, being mature enough to be able to talk about money without degrading the other person.
Yep, and I totally agree because I remember when we started the construction here. So, syempre, nagpabid ako sa friends who I know have their own, ano bang tawag mo? Oh, hindi construction. Like, our
Construction?
contractors.
Contractors.
So,
Yeah, yeah,
yung
yeah.
friends ko, minessage ko na magbigay ng bid. I gave basta my interior designer gave the list of things na kailangan, ganyan. And the way I remember the way I turned them down as I said, maybe I'm not your market kasi hindi ko pa afford, I'm just starting, but don't ever parang change your price to accommodate clients because I think that you will attract the right people who you can serve.
Mhm.
Alam mo yon?
Yeah.
And I think that's empowering others na, huy, hindi kita nilolowball but also don't lower your price for me. Alam mo yon? Parang
Yeah.
don't lower your services for me. Hindi lang kita afford ngayon. And personally, I appreciate that when I also get that from my clients, especially brands, na, hindi pa naman pala afford, hindi pa naman kaya ngayon. Alam mo yon? Parang,
Yeah.
that's honesty than, meron ako before, I remember when I started in content creation, nagbigay ako ng price ko. Sobrang baba lang ng price. Tapos,
Yeah.
nag-message yung brand na, uy, friend mo naman yung owner naman, baka daw pwedeng ganito na lang. As in, parang level 1,000 pesos na lang, gano'n. Tapos
Yeah.
parang ako naman, on my end, I'm just starting, parang gusto kong pagbigyan kasi friend ko. So, alam mo yun, pagbibigyan ko na lang, even if parang
Exactly.
haggard ako just to make that. Alam mo yun?
Parang Rika, this can be another topic. This can be another podcast episode in the future, next season, with a guest. Pero, yeah, no, you're right na it's difficult pag if it's a favor from a family or from a friend, but yeah, kanya-kanya. It really depends on the situation. Like, for me, kung yung tatay ko nag-ask sa akin ng favor, syempre, I'll say, yes,
Siyempre,
tatay ko
kahit
yan
libre.
eh. Yeah,
Correct.
kahit libre yan. Dad, I'll do this for you. Like, I hosted an event for my dad's company. Nandito na ako sa States. Umuwi ako ng Pilipinas on my dime to host his company's event. Kasi, wala, proud yung tatay ko sa akin. So, yes, thank you, Daddy. I love you. Pero, alam mo yun, things like that na the company is actually a big company and they didn't really give me anything, not even monetary compensation. And honestly, it's fine because it's for my dad, really. But like, if it's a third cousin who never talks to you, tapos bigla ka lang naalala na parang, oh, Sarah, di ba nag-host ka ng
Third
event?
cousin.
Dapat syempre, you have to, okay, ito po yung TF ko. This is my TF. Ganyan.
Correct. Ano ba yung gusto kong i-point out dun sa sinabi mo na really assessing the situation na dapat ba mapagbigyan, dapat bang magawa to, dapat bang magawa yan. Alam mo yun? And yung isa pang, nakalimutan ko yung gusto kong i-point out na
Sorry.
sa sinabi mo, adding to what you said, how would you cancel the invitation or yung proposal, ganyan, if you think it's beyond your budget. Parang ganyan. Kasi, I think, yun nga, like I pointed earlier, that the reason why people are kuripot is because they probably have their own goals that they need to save up for. So, how would you word that and say that without actually saying na, I have goals to, I have dreams that I'm saving up for.
Kasi it could, parang minsan baka off pag sinabi mo or like wala sa tema, depending on your group of friends. Classic example na lang is, for example, if my group of friends are going out of town, and I can't make it because the budget is extreme, like pasok sa budget ko. Like, you could honestly tell them na kung best friends mo nga to, pwede mo sabihin, uy guys, ito lang budget ko. Like, hindi ko na kaya mag-overspend. Like, hanap na lang tayong ibang place, please. Gusto ko kayo makasama eh. Or, if it's people that you're not really that super close with, yung sakto lang, yung parang you know that they know you enough or they like you enough that they want to invite you. Itong sasabihin ko, always ask, magkano ba yan? Kasi yung maganda doon, hindi ka nag-assume na ililibre ka. Kasi, actually guys, alam nyo, mahirap na nang mag-assume na nililibre ka. Kasi malay mo, hindi pala libre.
Hoy, ang ganda
so, baka bigyan ka pa ng
nun.
bill, sige ka.
Correct.
So, it's nice to assume that you
Magkano
have to pay
ba?
for yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just say, magkano ba? Like, how much? Paano transpo? Sino mga kasama natin? Like, you could interject it in a way that you wanna know what the plan is. And if hindi ka siya, like, honestly, sabihin mo, wait, sorry, I can't make it. Hindi pasok sa budget ko. Kasi, maybe you could give the reason or maybe you don't have to. If you don't want to, you could just say, hindi pasok sa budget ko kasi nagpagastos ako last month, bumili ako ng PlayStation, or alam mo yon, ganun lang. Like, be casual, be cool. Yeah, ganun daw. Be cool about it. Like, yup. Bro.
Yeah. Be cool about it. Planning. That's what I got from you, no? Planning. Knowing the plan. Para makita mo, pasok ba talaga? Kaya ko ba talaga? Etc.
Exactly.
Yeah. I love that. And I think I wanna close this episode by saying and talking about money consciousness. Money consciousness basically is ano ba yung pagtingin mo pagdating sa pera? For example, sanay kang before, nagji-jeep ka ba before? Nagko-commute ka ba before?
Yeah, nag-jeep ako dati.
Okay.
Oo.
Pero napansin mo ba nung nag-start magkaroon ng mga Grab, Uber dito, parang naging ayaw mo na tuloy mag-jeep. Gets mo ba? Ayaw mo na mag-bus, ayaw mo na mag-tricycle, ayaw mo na
Medyo,
mag-commute.
hard for me to say. Kasi feel ko pag nasa college pa naman ako noon, magko-commute pa din ako. Mag-LRT pa din ako. Pero kasi nung lumabas na yung Grab, I was already working. So it didn't make sense for me to commute because paano ako pupunta ng taping na dala-dala yung bagahe ko, pati yung upuan ko, diba? So I had to take a Grab or I'll take the service along with the production company.
Gets. But yeah, that's the money consciousness eh.
Mm-mm.
Pansin mo, parang sabi mo, of course, I was working, it didn't make sense na mag-commute. Gets mo ba? That's money
Mm-mm.
consciousness. Expanding your money consciousness. For example, no, sanay ka na nagkakape ka lang na ikaw yung nagtitimpla, for example. And then you got to
Ah,
experience
Starbucks.
Starbucks. You got to experience, let's say, hotel lobby, doon ka nagkape. And it becomes normal. Now it becomes
Yeah.
normal. Remember what Steve Harvey said na buy business class because you will be working na hindi mo na gustong mag-economy ulit kasi madadaanan mo yung business class and na-experience mo na. That's money consciousness.
Mm,
So you
yeah.
expand your money consciousness. However, kung parati kang kuripot, parati kang hindi gumagastos masyado
Mm-mm.
para sa sarili mo, you won't experience life and your money consciousness will be really small. Ibig
Mm-mm.
sabihin, ito lang yung alam mo, ito lang forever. And
Mm-mm.
yung quote na sinabi sa akin ng mentor ko is, pag kuripot ka sa pera, yung pera magiging kuripot din sa'yo.
I like that. I love that.
However, if you're giving, yung pera magiging giver din. Alam mo yon? Money will just
Mm-mm.
easily flow and come to you.
Yes. I like that. That's very good.
Yeah, so yun. So parang for me, if okay lang naman maging kuripot. Okay? So kanya-kanya tayong stand. Okay lang maging kuripot but also know your boundaries on hanggang saan ba ako magiging kuripot, hanggang saan ba ako magbibigay, hanggang saan ba akong magsispend. And yeah, going back to planning and managing and budgeting your money well so that you know how much money you can shell out for a specific lakad, for a specific thing that you want to buy, and being clear with your goals as well para you
Yeah.
know exactly how much you can spend and how much you need to save up. You need to save up for.
Nice. I love this episode. Ang saya. I love it.
Ikaw, anong last
In,
advice mo?
in
Okay lang
short,
ba maging
guys,
kuripot?
yes, there hashtag no shame to be kuripot. Yung kasi ang haba ng hashtag. Kuripot proud. Kuripot proudness.
Proud kuripot.
Proud kuripot. Pinapahirapan ko sarili ko.
Proud kuripot
Hashtag
po kami.
Proud kuripot. Ganon. No, but honestly, I think there's nothing wrong. There really is nothing wrong with it. I think I was one of those people that grew up thinking, ano masama sa maging kuripot? At least nakakapag-ipon ako ng pera. And as I got older, I just got more mature about it and everything. Like, I don't always have to be kuripot. Pwede naman ako magkaroon ng times na I'll spend on myself or like, alam mo yun, like there are some things that you save up on, there are some things that you splurge on, and it's totally fine. As long as you know you're earning more than how much you spend, you have your savings for a rainy day, and you know, you're not going over budget, then it's totally fine to be kuripot. There are some things, and ito yun siguro yung pinaka-importante, you really have to not care about what other people think of you. Kasi diba, some people don't want to be called kuripot because they're essentially being called cheap. Ganon. But if you know yourself that you're not cheap, if you know yourself you're not kuripot, hindi ka lang napagastos ng time na yon, then why would you let it affect you, what other people have to say? Kilala mo sarili mo eh. So why would you get affected if someone calls you kuripot? You have to get to a point where if someone calls you kuripot, you can just shrug it off because you know it's not true. So yan.
Getting to do yourself better. Thank you so much, Sarah. And I super missed you. Ang ganda na.
So
Marami
much,
pa kami re-record,
Yani!
guys. Marami pa kami re-record, guys. Nabes ko lang din talaga yung ganitong usapan na parang your besties just talking about money. Alam mo yun, ng naturally and normal lang sa amin. So, until the
Oo nga.
next episode, thank you so much. Bye!
Bye, guys!
Thank you guys for hanging out with us for another episode of Quarter Life Bliss.
Let us know your thoughts by joining our community at facebook.com/group/quarterlifeless podcast and following us over at Quarter Life Bliss podcast on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube.
And that's it. Anything else to say, bestie?
Find your bliss and money will follow.
Yon.